I paid for a vacation I would never take. That's how this started. Not with a scream or a slap or some Hollywood moment where everything breaks at once. It started with me sitting at the kitchen table at 6 in the morning, coffee going cold, watching my wife Rebecca pack the last of the sunscreen into a suitcase I'd bought on sale 3 years ago. "You're sure you don't want to come?" she asked. I looked up. She wasn't even facing me. She was folding a swimsuit, one of those practical one-pieces she'd owned since before the kids were born. Her voice was flat, rehearsed. "Someone has to stay," I said. "House doesn't watch itself." Right. That was it. That was the whole conversation. She zipped the suitcase. I heard the rental car pull into the driveway. My son Derek and his wife Vanessa were driving everyone to the airport. 4 of them total. Derek, Vanessa, my daughter Amy, and her husband Colin. All of them in their late 20s or early 30s. All of them still on my phone plan, and all of them heading to a resort in Turks and Caicos that I'd paid for 6 months in advance. I didn't get up to say goodbye. Rebecca came over and kissed the top of my head. It felt like a period at the end of a sentence. "I'll text when we land," she said. "Sure." I listened to the sound of wheels on gravel, doors slamming, voices layering over each other in that excited pre-vacation buzz. Then the car pulled away. The house went quiet. I sat there for another 20 minutes, staring at nothing. Then I got up, walked into my office, and logged into the system. "My name is Paul Hendricks. I'm 50 years old. I work as the Director of Logistics and Facilities for a regional hospitality group that operates hotels, conference centers, and corporate housing across the Mid-Atlantic. It's not a glamorous job. Most people don't even know what it means. When someone asks what I do, I say operations, and they stop listening. That's fine. I prefer it. What they don't understand is that logistics means access. It means knowing where the dependencies are. Who controls the vendor contracts? Who manages the key cards? Who schedules the maintenance windows? Who signs off on emergency overrides? It means I'm the person who holds the infrastructure together, and most of the time, nobody even notices I'm there, until I stop. The resort they were staying at wasn't part of my company's portfolio, but that didn't matter. Hospitality is a network. Everyone uses the same booking platforms, the same access management systems, the same third-party authentication layers. If you know where to look, you can trace the connections. I pulled up the reservation. It was under my credit card, obviously. I'd booked it back in March when Amy first brought it up. She'd called it a family reconnection trip. Derek had nodded along like it was his idea. Rebecca had stayed quiet. At the time, I'd thought it sounded fine, maybe even good. A week together, no distractions, quality time. But then the changes started. First, Derek upgraded the rooms. He didn't ask, just called the resort directly and moved everyone from standard doubles to oceanfront suites. When I saw the charge, I asked him about it. "It's a special occasion, Dad," he'd said. "Don't be cheap." Then Vanessa added spa packages. Then Colin booked a private catamaran. Then Amy extended the trip by 2 days. Every time, I got the notification after the fact. And every time I brought it up, the response was the same. "You're overreacting. It's our vacation too. Why are you always so controlling?" By the time we were a week out, I'd stopped asking questions. I just watched the numbers climb, watched the itinerary expand, watched them make decisions like I wasn't even part of the equation. Then, 3 days before departure, Rebecca sat me down. "They don't think you should come," she said. I remember the way she said it. Calm, clinical, like she was reading off a grocery list. "What?" "They think you'll complain the whole time, about the cost, about the schedule, about everything." She paused. "They said it would be easier if you stayed home." "And you agree?" She didn't answer right away. She looked at me for a long time, and I saw something in her face I hadn't seen before. Not anger, not pity, resignation. "I think," she said slowly, "that you should do what you think is right." That was when I knew. They weren't just cutting me out of the vacation. They were cutting me out. I didn't argue. I didn't fight. I just nodded and said I'd stay behind to save money. Watch the house. Water the plants. All the things a responsible, boring father would do. They seemed relieved. The group chat started 2 hours after they landed. I wasn't on it. Not officially. But I had access to the phone records. I could see the traffic. And when Derek's wife, Vanessa, accidentally tagged me in a photo, then immediately deleted it, I got curious. So I logged into the shared cloud account. The one Rebecca and I had set up years ago for family photos. The one everyone still used because they were too lazy to make their own. The photos were all there. Derek and Vanessa at the swim-up bar holding cocktails that cost $18 each. Amy and Colin on a jet ski, waving at the camera. A group shot on the beach at sunset, everyone tan and grinning. And the captions. Finally learning what relaxation feels like. Best decision we ever made. Life is so much easier when you leave the baggage at home. That last one was from Colin. He'd added a laughing emoji. I sat there in my office, looking at that screen, and I felt something crack inside my chest. Not anger, not even hurt. Clarity. They thought I was the wallet that didn't walk, the credit card, the logistics, the infrastructure. They thought I was background noise. I opened another window, pulled up the resort's property management system. It took me about 4 minutes to find the authentication layer, another 3 to locate the access control database. Then I made one change. Not to the reservations, not to the billing, not even to the room assignments. I changed the authorization status on the key cards. Specifically, I changed the issuing authority from primary account holder to verified guest only. It's a small distinction. Most people wouldn't even notice it. But in practice, it means that any key card issued under a reservation has to be re-verified by the person whose name is on the booking. And the name on the booking was mine. I didn't downgrade their rooms. I didn't cancel their spa appointments. I didn't touch a single dollar. I just made sure that if they wanted to keep those things, they'd have to ask me first. Then I logged out, closed the laptop, went upstairs and took a shower. By morning, the group chat wasn't laughing anymore. It started with Amy. Guys, my key card isn't working. Then Derek. Same here. Front desk says there's an issue with the reservation. Then Vanessa, in all caps. They're saying we need to contact the account holder to reauthorize access. Who the hell is the account holder? I was sitting at the kitchen table when I saw the notifications. I didn't respond. I just sipped my coffee and watched the messages pile up. Colin tried calling me. I let it go to voicemail. Derek tried next. Voicemail. Then Amy. Voicemail. Finally, Rebecca called. I answered. Paul, she said. Her voice was tight, controlled. What did you do? Nothing, I said. I'm just sitting here, watching the house. Their cards aren't working. That's strange. Paul. You should tell them to contact the resort. I'm sure it's just a glitch. There was a long silence. I could hear voices in the background. Someone was yelling, probably Colin. This isn't funny, Rebecca said. I'm not laughing. Another pause. What do you want? She asked. I leaned back in my chair, looked out the window at the empty driveway. I want, I said slowly, to finish my coffee in peace. Then I hung up. The next call came from the resort directly. A manager, very polite, very apologetic. There had been a small technical issue with the reservation. Nothing serious, just a verification hiccup. If I could confirm a few details, they'd have everything sorted out right away. I told him I was busy. He asked when I'd be available. I said I'd get back to him. He thanked me for my patience and hung up. The group chat exploded. This is insane. Someone call the credit card company. They already tried. The charges are valid. Then how is he doing this? I didn't answer any of them. I just sat there, watching the panic spread, watching them scramble for solutions that didn't exist. They thought I was the background. They thought I was replaceable. They were wrong. By lunchtime, Derek had convinced the resort to move them to standard rooms. No ocean view, no suites. Just basic doubles with a parking lot view and a broken AC unit that maintenance couldn't get to until Tuesday. Vanessa's spa appointment was canceled. Colin's catamaran was rebooked for a group tour with 18 other people. Amy's private beach dinner got downgraded to a table in the main restaurant next to the kitchen. None of it was my doing, not directly. I'd just removed the support structure. And without it, everything collapsed. Rebecca called again that night. It was late. I was in bed reading a book I'd been meaning to finish for 2 years. "Paul," she said, "we need to talk." "I'm listening." "What's your endgame here?" "I don't have one." "Bullshit." I closed the book, set it on the nightstand. "They wanted me out of the picture," I said. "I'm out of the picture." "You're punishing them." "I'm not doing anything. I'm just not helping." "Paul, you told me to do what I thought was right," I said. "This is what I think is right." She didn't respond for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was different, quieter. "They're scared," she said. "Good. Paul, I have to go," I said. "Early morning tomorrow." I hung up before she could say anything else. I didn't sleep much that night, not because I felt guilty. I didn't. I just kept thinking about that photo, the one Colin had posted. Life is so much easier when you leave the baggage at home. I wasn't baggage. I was the foundation. And now they were learning what happens when the foundation decides to stop holding up the weight. The next morning, I got up at 5, made coffee, checked the system. Derek had tried to dispute the charges overnight. The credit card company had flagged it as fraud. I called them, confirmed the charges were legitimate, and had the dispute closed in under 10 minutes. Amy had called the resort manager directly and tried to negotiate a room upgrade. They'd told her the suites were fully booked. She'd asked to speak to someone higher up. They'd told her the decision was final. Colin had posted a 1-star review on TripAdvisor. The resort had responded within an hour, politely noting that the issues were related to a billing discrepancy with the account holder, not the property itself. Vanessa had tried to book a rental car to leave the resort entirely. The reservation had been flagged because the credit card on file didn't match the driver's license. She'd called me 4 times. I hadn't answered. By mid-morning, the group chat had gone quiet. That was when I knew I had them. Not because they'd given up, because they were planning something. I could feel it. The silence wasn't surrender. It was strategy. They were regrouping, and I needed to stay ahead of them. I opened my laptop, started pulling files, contracts, access logs, vendor agreements, everything I'd built over the last 15 years in this industry. Not because I needed it yet, because I knew I would. They thought this was about a vacation. It wasn't. It was about everything that came before. Every decision they'd made without asking. Every time they'd treated me like an obstacle instead of a partner. Every time they'd assumed I'd just go along with it because that's what I always did. They'd been testing me for years, and I'd finally failed their test. Or maybe I'd finally passed mine. Rebecca called again that afternoon. I almost didn't answer, but something in the timing felt deliberate. "Okay," she said when I picked up. "You win. This isn't a game." "Then what is it?" I didn't answer. "Paul," she said, "you've made your point. They're miserable. The trip is ruined. You've proven whatever it is you needed to prove. Now fix it." "No." "Paul, I'm not fixing anything," I said. "They made this mess. They can sit in it." "You're being cruel." "I'm being consistent." There was a long pause. I could hear waves in the background. She was on the beach, probably alone. "What do you want me to say?" she asked finally. "Nothing," I said. "I just want you to watch." "Watch what?" "What happens when people realize they're not as independent as they thought." She was quiet for a long time. "You've changed," she said. "No," I said. "I just stopped pretending." I hung up. That night, I got a text from Derek. We need to talk, face to face. I didn't respond. He sent another one an hour later. I'm flying back early. I'll be home tomorrow night. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I smiled. Because Derek coming home meant he was scared. And if he was scared, it meant he'd finally figured it out. This wasn't about a vacation. It was about control. And I was done giving it away. Derek's flight landed at 9:43 p.m. I know because I checked the airline system. Force of habit. You spend 15 years in logistics, you start tracking everything. He didn't call when he landed, didn't text, just got in his car and drove straight to the house. I watched the headlights sweep across the living room wall around 11, heard the engine cut, the car door slam. I was sitting in the dark. He didn't knock, just used his key, walked right in like he still lived here. Dad? I didn't answer. Dad, I know you're here. Your car's in the driveway. I heard him move through the foyer, past the kitchen, toward the living room. When he flipped the light switch, I was sitting in the armchair by the window, hands folded, waiting. He flinched. Jesus Christ, he said. Why are you sitting in the dark? It's my house. He stared at me. He looked tired, sunburned, his shirt was wrinkled, and there was a coffee stain near the collar. Vanessa probably picked it out for him. She always did. We need to talk, he said. So talk. He hesitated, glanced around like he was expecting someone else to be there. Where's Mom? Still on vacation. She didn't come back with me? Why would she? He didn't have an answer for that. He just stood there, shifting his weight from foot to foot like a kid caught stealing. What the hell are you doing? He asked finally. Watching the house. Don't bullshit me. I leaned forward, rested my elbows on my knees. You flew home early, I said. Middle of your vacation. Left your wife at a resort you spent $6,000 upgrading. That tells me you're either very stupid or very scared. His jaw tightened. You sabotaged the trip. I didn't sabotage anything. You locked us out of our rooms. I've verified a reservation. That's not sabotage. That's procedure. Procedure? His voice went up an octave. Actually, I said, I'm both. He blinked. I stood up, walked past him into the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water. He followed. I don't understand what's happening here, he said. That's the problem. What problem? I turned around, looked at him, really looked at him. Derek was 32. He worked in sales for a tech company that sold enterprise software nobody understood. He made decent money. Not great, but decent. Enough to lease a car and rent a 2-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood he couldn't actually afford. He was also $14,000 in debt on a credit card I'd co-signed 3 years ago. His car payment was 2 months behind, and his rent check had bounced twice in the last 6 months. I knew all this because I'd been covering it, quietly, without telling him. Because that's what fathers do, right? You don't see me, I said. What? You don't see me, I repeated. None of you do. I'm just the guy who pays for things, the guy who makes sure the lights stay on and the bills get paid and the reservations don't fall through. But I'm not a person. I'm infrastructure. That's not true. Isn't it? He opened his mouth, closed it. You upgraded the rooms without asking me, I said. You added charges to my card like I wouldn't notice, and when I tried to talk to you about it, you called me cheap. I didn't mean, yes, you did. His face flushed. He looked away. And then, I continued, you all decided I shouldn't come on the trip. Because I'd complain, because I'd ruin it, because it would be easier without me. Dad. Do you know what that feels like? I asked. To pay for something you're not invited to? He didn't answer. It feels like being erased, I said. The kitchen went quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming, the clock on the wall ticking. What do you want? He asked finally. I want you to leave. What? Go back to the resort, finish your vacation. Enjoy the room I paid for. But I'll reauthorize your key card in the morning. You can check back in. Pretend this never happened. He stared at me. That's it? He said. That's all you want? No, I said, but it's all I'm going to tell you right now. He looked like he wanted to argue, but something in my face stopped him. Okay, he said quietly. Okay. He turned to leave, made it halfway to the door, then stopped. For what it's worth, he said without looking back, I'm sorry. No, you're not. He flinched, but he didn't deny it, and then he was gone. I stood there in the kitchen for a long time after he left, staring at nothing. Then I went back to my office and logged in. Derek's key card was reauthorized by 6 a.m. He got the notification while he was waiting for his connecting flight in Charlotte. By the time he landed back in Turks and Caicos, his room was ready. But I'd made one small change. The suite he'd upgraded to? Gone. He was back in a standard room, same as everyone else. When he called to complain, the front desk apologized, said there must have been a misunderstanding. The suites were booked solid now. Nothing they could do. He didn't call me. Smart. The group chat came back to life that afternoon. Dad reauthorized the cards. Are we back in the suites? No, standard rooms. At least we have rooms. This is insane. Just drop it. 2 more days and we're out of here. I read the messages on my phone while I was sitting in a meeting. One of our properties was having issues with their HVAC system. The contractor wanted to reschedule. I told him no. We had a contract. He'd honor it or we'd find someone who would. He honored it. That's how it works. You set boundaries. You enforce them. People either respect you or they don't get access. Simple. Rebecca called that night. Derek told me you two talked, she said. Did he? He said you let him back in. I did. Why? Because I'm not interested in punishing him. Then what are you interested in? I paused. Thought about how to answer that. Teaching him, I said finally. Teaching him what? That actions have consequences. She was quiet for a moment. Paul, she said carefully, I need to ask you something. Go ahead. Are you planning to hurt them? I frowned. Hurt them how? I don't know. Financially? Legally? She paused. I need to know where this is going. I'm not going to hurt them, I said. I'm just going to stop protecting them. Isn't that the same thing? No, I said. It's not. She didn't sound convinced. Paul, whatever you're doing, just be careful, okay? I'm always careful. That's what scares me. She hung up. I sat there for a while, staring at the phone. Rebecca wasn't stupid. She'd figured out that something was happening, something bigger than a vacation. But she didn't know what. Not yet, but she would. They all would. The next day, Colin posted another photo. It was a sunset shot, the kind people take when they're trying to prove they're having a good time. Amy was in the frame, smiling, holding a drink. The caption read, "Making the best of it." No mention of me, no jokes, no laughing emojis, just quiet resignation. I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I opened my laptop and started digging. Colin worked in finance, mid-level analyst at a regional investment firm. He made good money, better than Derek, enough to buy a condo and lease a luxury car he didn't need. But he also had a problem. Gambling, not the obvious kind. Not casinos or poker rooms, online sports betting, the kind that's legal now, the kind that's easy to hide, until it's not. I'd noticed it 6 months ago when I was reviewing the shared credit card statement. Small charges, $10 here, $20 there, always to the same app. I'd assumed it was harmless. A hobby. But then I started tracking it, and the amounts got bigger. 50, 100, 250. By the time they left for the vacation, he was down $11,000. He hadn't told Amy. I knew because I'd checked their joint account. the one they'd opened when they got married, the one I'd helped them set up. The balance was dropping, fast, and Amy had no idea. I made a note, filed it away, not because I planned to use it, but because I knew I could. The vacation ended on a Thursday. They flew back in the afternoon. I wasn't there to pick them up. Rebecca took an Uber home, walked in around 7. She looked tired. "Hey," she said. "Hey." She dropped her bag by the door, kicked off her shoes, came into the kitchen and poured herself a glass of wine. "How was the trip?" I asked. She gave me a look. "You really want to know?" "Sure." She took a long sip. "It was terrible," she said. "The rooms were awful. The food was mediocre. Colin and Amy spent the whole time fighting. Derek and Vanessa barely spoke to each other, and everyone blamed you." "Sounds about right." "Paul..." "What?" I looked up at her. "You think I should apologize?" "I think you should explain." "Explain what?" "Why you did it." I leaned back in my chair, thought about it. "I wanted to see what would happen," I said. "What would happen when? When I stopped holding everything together." She stared at me. "And?" she asked. "What did you learn?" "That it falls apart." She didn't say anything for a long time, just stood there, holding her wine, looking at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "I'm worried about you," she said finally. "Don't be." "Paul..." "I'm fine, Rebecca." "You're not." I stood up, walked over to her. "I'm better than fine," I said. "I'm awake." She searched my face, looking for something. "I'm not sure what." "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I don't know yet. But you're going to do something." "Yes." She nodded slowly, set down her glass. "Okay," she said. "Okay. I can't stop you, I know that, so I'm not going to try." She turned and walked toward the stairs, paused halfway up. "But Paul?" "Yeah?" "Whatever you're planning, just remember, they're still our kids." "I know." She nodded, then went upstairs. I stood there in the kitchen, alone, listening to the house settle. They were still our kids, but they weren't kids anymore, and I was done treating them like they were. I didn't sleep that night, just sat in my office, staring at the forged deed, thinking. Derek had used my house, my home, the one thing I'd built that was supposed to be untouchable, and he'd done it knowing exactly what it meant. This wasn't desperation, this was war, and if he wanted war, I'd give it to him, but not the way he expected. I picked up my phone, started making calls. First, I called the lender, small operation out of Delaware, the kind that specializes in high-risk loans. "This is Paul Hendricks. I'm calling about loan number 476283. "Hold, please." I waited. A woman came on the line. "Mr. Hendricks?" "Yes." "How can I help you?" "The collateral on that loan was fraudulent. The deed was forged." Silence. "I'm sorry, could you repeat that?" "The person who took out the loan doesn't own the property. I do, and I didn't authorize the use of my house as collateral." "I see. Do you have proof?" "I have the original deed, and I can provide documentation that the secondary deed was forged." "Okay, we'll need to investigate. In the meantime, the loan will be frozen." "Good. And I want the borrower's information, all of it." "I can't provide that without..." "It's my property. That makes me a party to the fraud. You can provide it, or I can get a court order." She hesitated. "Hold, please." Another wait. She came back. "I can send you a copy of the application, but that's all." "That's enough." She sent it. I opened it. Derek had listed a fake business, fake income, fake employment history. Everything was a lie, except the property, which meant he'd planned this carefully, and he'd assumed I wouldn't notice until it was too late. He was wrong. I called Mitchell. "You were right," I said. "File the injunction and add fraud charges." "Paul, are you sure?" "I'm sure. This is going to escalate things." "Good." He sighed. "Okay. I'll have it filed by noon." "Thanks." I hung up. Then I called Derek. He answered on the third ring. Dad? We need to talk. I'm at work. I don't care. You have 30 minutes to get to my office. If you're not here, I'm calling the police. What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. I hung up. He showed up in 22 minutes. I was waiting in the conference room, alone. He walked in, pale, sweating. Sit down, I said. He did. I slid the forged deed across the table. He looked at it, then looked at me. I can explain. No, you can't. Dad, just listen. You forged a property deed, used my house as collateral, lied to a lender, took $50,000 you had no right to take. What part of that needs explaining? He didn't answer. Do you understand what you've done? I asked. I was desperate. You're always desperate, and every time you make it worse. I was trying to fix things. By committing fraud, by risking my home. I didn't think you'd find out. I stared at him. That's your defense? You didn't think I'd find out? I was going to pay it back. With what money, Derek? You don't have any money. You're broke. You're in debt. You're on probation for stealing from me the first time. And now you've done it again. Worse this time. He looked down. I don't know what to do, he said quietly. Neither do I. He looked up, surprised. What? I don't know what to do with you, I said. I've tried everything. I've helped you. I've warned you. I've punished you. And nothing works. You just keep making the same mistakes over and over. Dad, no. Listen to me. I'm done. Do you understand? I'm done. I'm not covering for you. I'm not bailing you out. I'm not fixing this. You did this. You fix it. How? I don't know. But it's not my problem anymore. His face crumpled. You're my father. And you're my son. But that doesn't mean I have to destroy myself to save you. So what? You're just giving up on me? No, I'm giving up on trying to save you from yourself. He started crying. I stood up. You have two choices, I said. You can turn yourself in, confess, face the consequences, or you can wait for the police to come get you. Either way, you're going to pay for this. Dad, please. I'm sorry, Derek, but this is where it ends. I walked out, left him there, crying, alone, and I didn't look back. I went home. Rebecca was in the kitchen. How'd it go? She asked. He admitted it. And I told him to turn himself in. Will he? I don't know. She came over, put her hand on my arm. Paul, are you okay? No. What do you need? I stopped, took a breath. I need this to be over. It will be, soon. Will it? She didn't answer, because we both knew the truth. This was never going to be over. Not really. Derek turned himself in that afternoon. The police arrested him at his apartment, charged him with fraud, set bail at $75,000. He couldn't make it, so he sat in jail. Vanessa called me that night. This is your fault, she said. No, it's his. You pushed him to this. I didn't push him anywhere. He made his own choices. He's your son, which is why I'm not going to lie for him. You're destroying him. He's destroying himself. She hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone, and I realized something. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel sad. I just felt tired. Amy called the next morning. Dad, I heard about Derek. Yeah. How are you holding up? I'm fine. You don't sound fine. I'm just tired. I know. Me too. We were both quiet for a moment. Dad, she said carefully, can I ask you something? Sure. Do you regret it? Any of it? I thought about it. No, I said. Why not? Because I did what I had to do. Even if it meant losing Derek? I didn't lose Derek. He lost himself. She was quiet. I think, she said slowly, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard you say. Maybe, but it's true. I know. We hung up, and I sat there, thinking about what she'd said. Maybe it was sad, but it was also honest. And after everything, that was all I had left. Derek's arraignment was scheduled for the following week. I didn't go. Rebecca went, came back quiet. How is he? I asked. Broken. Good. Paul. I don't mean it like that. I just mean, maybe now he'll finally understand. Understand what? That actions have consequences. She looked at me. Do you really believe that? Yes. Even if the consequences destroy him? He destroyed himself? You keep saying that, but I'm not sure you believe it. I didn't respond, because she was right. I didn't believe it, not entirely, but I couldn't admit that. Not to her, not to anyone. The days blurred together, work, home, silence. Rebecca and I barely spoke. Amy called occasionally, asked how I was doing. I said I was fine, I wasn't, but I couldn't explain why. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, I got a call. Unknown number. Paul Hendricks. Mr. Hendricks, this is Detective Ramirez. We met a few weeks ago. I remember. I'm calling about your son. My stomach dropped. What about him? He's asking to see you. Why? I don't know, but he's been pretty insistent, said it's important. I hesitated. When? Tomorrow, if you're available. I'll be there. Good. 10 a.m., county jail. I'll be there. I hung up. Rebecca was standing in the doorway. Derek wants to see you? She asked. Yeah. Are you going? Yes. Why? I looked at her. Because he's my son. I thought you were done with him. I am, but that doesn't mean I can ignore him. She shook her head. I don't understand you anymore, she said. I know. She walked away, and I stood there, alone, wondering if I understood myself anymore either. The county jail was a low, gray building that looked exactly like what it was, concrete, functional, depressing. I checked in at the front desk, showed my ID, waited. 20 minutes later, a guard led me to a small visiting room, metal table, 2 chairs, a camera in the corner. Derek was already there. He looked worse than I expected. Thinner, pale. His eyes were hollow. I sat down. We stared at each other for a long moment. Thanks for coming, he said finally. Why did you want to see me? I wanted to apologize. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? He looked down. I don't know. I guess I thought you'd say something. Anything. What is there to say, Derek? You apologized. I heard it. That's it. Don't you want to know why I did it? I already know why. You were desperate. You made bad choices. You kept digging deeper until you couldn't get out. That's not... Yes, it is. He looked at me. You don't get it, he said. You never did. Then explain it to me. He leaned back, laughed bitterly. You want to know why I did it? Really? Yes. Because you made me feel like nothing. I blinked. What? You heard me. Every time I tried to do something, anything, you were there, judging, criticizing, telling me I was doing it wrong. And when I needed help, you acted like it was a burden. That's not true. Isn't it? How many times did I ask you for money? How many times did you sigh and say yes, but make me feel like garbage for asking? I never made you feel like garbage. You didn't have to say it. I could see it in your face. I stared at him. You're blaming me for this. I'm not blaming you, I'm explaining. You asked why. That's why. So it's my fault you stole from me? No, it's my fault. But you made it easy to justify. I stood up. I'm done here. Dad, wait. No, you wanted to apologize, you did. But if you think I'm going to sit here and listen to you blame me for your failures, you're wrong. Dad, please. Good luck, Derek. I walked out. The guard let me through the door. I walked down the hallway, out into the parking lot, got in my car, and sat there, shaking. I wanted to be angry, but I wasn't. I was hurt, because part of me wondered if he was right. I drove home. Rebecca was in the living room. How was it? She asked. terrible. What happened? He blamed me, said I made him feel like nothing. She was quiet. Do you think he's right? She asked. No. Paul. Rebecca, I'm not doing this. I didn't make him steal. I didn't make him lie. I didn't make him forge documents. He did that, not me. But did you make him feel small? I looked at her. What? Did you make him feel small, unimportant, like he couldn't do anything right? I don't know. Maybe. But that doesn't excuse what he did. No, it doesn't, but it explains it. I stood up. Are you defending him? No, I'm trying to understand him. There's nothing to understand. He's a thief, a liar, and a coward. And he's your son. I know that. Do you? Because it doesn't seem like it. I stared at her. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe you're so focused on punishing him that you've forgotten he's still your son. I haven't forgotten. Haven't you? I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the conversation with Derek. You made me feel like nothing. Was it true? Had I? I thought about the years, the conversations, the moments, and I realized maybe I had, not intentionally, but in 1,000 small ways. A sigh here, a comment there, a look of disappointment that said more than words ever could. I'd never meant to hurt him, but maybe I had. I got out of bed, went downstairs, sat in the dark, and for the first time in weeks, I let myself feel it. The guilt. It hit me all at once, a wave so strong I couldn't breathe. I'd been so focused on being right, on proving a point, on teaching a lesson, that I'd forgotten to be a father. I put my head in my hands, and I cried. Rebecca found me there an hour later. She didn't say anything, just sat down next to me and held my hand. I messed up, I said. I know. I don't know how to fix it. You can't. Not all of it. But you can try. How? By being honest. By admitting you were wrong. By showing him you care. What if it's too late? It's not. How do you know? Because he's still trying. He asked to see you. He's still reaching out. That means something. I looked at her. What if I can't forgive him? You don't have to. Not yet. But you have to try. I nodded. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something other than anger or guilt. I felt hope. The next morning, I went back to the jail. Derek was surprised to see me. Dad? Can we talk? Yeah, of course. I sat down. I've been thinking about what you said, I started. And you're right. I did make you feel small, not on purpose. But I did. He stared at me. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know that I heard you. And I'm sorry. He looked down. His hands were shaking. Thank you, he said quietly. But, I continued, that doesn't excuse what you did. You still made choices, bad ones, and you have to own that. I know. Do you? Yes, I do. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, and I know I have to fix it. Can you? I don't know, but I'm going to try. I nodded. Okay. Okay? Yeah. Okay. He looked at me. What happens now? He asked. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Together? I hesitated, then nodded. Together. He started crying. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. I reached across the table, put my hand on his. I love you, Derek. I always have, even when I didn't show it. I love you too. We sat there for a while, not saying anything, just being. And for the first time in a long time, I felt something close to peace. When I left the jail, I called Rebecca. I talked to him, I said. And I apologized. You did? Yeah. How do you feel? Lighter. She laughed softly. Good. I'm proud of you. Thanks. Paul? Yeah? I love you. I love you too. I hung up, and I drove home, feeling like just maybe, I'd done the right thing, but then Amy called. Dad, We have a problem. What kind of problem? It's Colin. He's out. I pulled over. What do you mean he's out? He posted bail this morning, and he's looking for me. Where are you? I'm at Mom's. Stay there, I'm coming. Dad, I'm scared. I know, but I'm on my way. Just stay there. I hung up and drove faster because I knew this wasn't over. Not yet. I made it to Rebecca's sister's house in 15 minutes. Amy was in the living room, pacing. He called me, she said, 3 times, left voicemails. What did he say? That we need to talk, that he's sorry, that he wants to fix things. Do you believe him? No. Good. Because he's lying. How do you know? Because men like Colin don't change. They just get better at hiding. She sat down, put her head in her hands. What do I do? You stay here, you don't answer his calls, and you let me handle it. Handle it how? I'll figure it out. I called Mitchell. Paul, what's going on? Colin posted bail. He's harassing Amy. Has he made any threats? Not explicitly, but he's calling repeatedly. She's scared. That's enough for a restraining order. I can file today. Do it. Consider it done. I hung up. Then I did something I probably shouldn't have. I called Colin. He answered on the first ring. Paul? Stay away from Amy. I just want to talk to her. No. You stay away, or I'll make sure you regret it. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you. You can't keep me from my wife. She's not your wife anymore. She filed for divorce. It's over. It's not over until I say it's over. I felt my jaw tighten. Listen to me very carefully, Colin. If you go near her, if you call her, if you so much as think about her, I will destroy you. Do you understand? You can't. I can, and I will. I know everything, Colin. The gambling, the debt, the lies, all of it. And if you push me, I'll make sure everyone else knows too. Silence. You wouldn't. Try me. He hung up. I stood there, breathing hard. Rebecca came into the room. What did you do? She asked. I warned him. Paul, he needs to stay away from Amy, and if warning him is what it takes, then that's what I'll do. What if he doesn't listen? Then I'll make him. She looked at me. You're scaring me, she said. Good, because he should be scared too. That night, Colin showed up at Amy's apartment. She wasn't there. She was still at Rebecca's sister's house, but he didn't know that. He broke the lock, walked in, trashed the place. The neighbors called the police. They arrested him at the scene. When Amy got the call, she broke down. He was in my apartment, she said. He went through my things. He destroyed everything. I know, but he's in custody now. He's not going to hurt you. How do you know? Because I won't let him. She looked at me. Dad, what are you going to do? Whatever I have to. The next morning, I went to the police station. Detective Ramirez met me in the lobby. Mr. Hendricks, I heard about Colin. Good. Because I want to make sure he stays locked up. We're holding him on breaking and entering, plus violation of the restraining order. Bail's been set at $200,000. He won't make it. Probably not. But even if he does, he's facing serious charges. He's not getting out of this. Good. But, Mr. Hendricks, can I give you some advice? Sure. Let us handle this. Don't go looking for trouble. I won't. You sure about that? I didn't answer. He sighed. Just be careful. Okay? I will. I left. But I wasn't done. I went to Colin's office, walked right in, asked for his supervisor. Can I help you? She asked. My name is Paul Hendricks. I'm Colin's father-in-law, and I need to talk to you about his conduct. She frowned. What kind of conduct? Gambling. During work hours. Using company resources. Her expression changed. Do you have proof? I have records, dates, times, amounts, all of it. I handed her a folder. She opened it, flipped through the pages. Her face went pale. This is This is serious. I know, which is why I thought you should know. Thank you. We'll look into this. Good. I turned to leave. Mr. Hendricks? I stopped. Why are you telling us this? He's your son-in-law. He was, not anymore. I walked out, and I felt nothing. No guilt, no regret, just satisfaction. Colin lost his job 3 days later. Amy called to tell me. Dad, Colin got fired. I know. How do you know? I didn't answer. Dad, did you do this? He did it to himself. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting. She was quiet. Thank you, she said finally. For what? For protecting me. You're my daughter. That's what I do. She hung up, and I sat there, feeling strange, not good, not bad, just done. Rebecca came home that night. I heard about Colin, she said. Yeah. You reported him to his employer. Yes. Paul, don't. Just don't. I'm not judging you. I'm worried. About what? About where this ends, about how far you're willing to go. As far as I need to. And what if that's too far? I looked at her. Then I'll deal with it. She shook her head. I don't know who you are anymore, she said. Neither do I. She walked away, and I sat there, alone, wondering the same thing. The next week was quiet. Colin stayed in jail, Derek started therapy, Amy began rebuilding her life, and I went back to work. But something had changed. People looked at me differently, not with fear, not with respect, with distance, like I was someone they didn't want to get too close to. I didn't care. I'd spent my whole life caring what people thought, and where had it gotten me? So I stopped caring, stopped pretending, stopped being the person everyone expected me to be, and it felt good until Rebecca sat me down. We need to talk, she said. About what? About us. I looked at her. What about us? I don't know if I can do this anymore. My stomach dropped. Do what? This, us, living with someone I don't recognize. Rebecca. Paul, I've watched you change over the last few months, and I don't like what I'm seeing. What are you seeing? Someone who's angry, someone who's cold, someone who's so focused on revenge that he's forgotten how to be human. That's not fair. Isn't it? When was the last time you smiled? When was the last time you did something just because it made you happy? When was the last time you thought about anyone other than yourself? I didn't answer, because I couldn't. I love you, Paul, I do. But I can't keep doing this. I can't keep watching you destroy yourself. I'm not destroying myself. Yes, you are, and you're taking everyone else down with you. I stood up. So what are you saying? You want a divorce? I don't know. Maybe. I felt like I'd been punched. You're serious? Yes, I'm serious. After everything, after 30 years, you're just going to leave? I'm not leaving, I'm protecting myself. From what? From you. I stared at her, and I saw it. The truth. I'd become the villain, not just to Derek, not just to Colin, but to her, to everyone. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I know, but that's not enough. Then what is? I don't know, but you need to figure it out before it's too late. She walked out, and I stood there, alone, realizing that I'd won every battle, but I was losing the war.